What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today, the topic at hand is the Dodge Magnum. I'm just going to wait for everybody to get in here. I'm taking a break, traveling right now. Like always. And I'm been looking into some new stuff for you guys. So let's get started here. I'm going to adjust the phone so you guys can see me. First, I want to ask you guys, is it clear video or is it cutting in and out? I mean, I'm in a good area, good reception, so it should be good. Let me know what you guys think. What's up, 27 Supercharged? What is going on, Miles? What's up, Javi or Javi? I'm sure I pronounced that wrong the first time. Jamar, Plumber, what's going on? What is up? Drilly 2789, Humble Beast, Frost, Mopar, Mike, John, DMSRT8, Michael Corleone in the house. What is going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping in, Jamar. I love Miami. I might actually be there in April. Ty Racer 24, Elijah, what's up, buddy? Robert, Mike, and Josh. So let's get started here. If I didn't call out your name, I apologize. What's up, Ram Rebel 1? The topic at hand. What's up, Jeff? Jeff, that's hilarious. Jaron Waters, what's up, buddy? So there's been some buzz about the Dodge Magnum. Now, there's been other YouTubers, but not only that, there's been people emailing me, asking me what the hell is going on with the Dodge Magnum. And not only that, there's been websites that have been talking about it too. So I want to really touch base on this. When the Dodge Magnum came out back in 2007, I think it was 2007. Thanks, Victor. I appreciate it, buddy. When the Magnum came out in 2007, they basically shot themselves in the foot because the gas prices were skyrocketing and people weren't really inclined to want to buy a Magnum. It was a people hauler. There was no room for cargo, really. Now, there was room for cargo, but you got to think of the Magnum. Back then, people were on the kick for SUVs. They were really buying, 2006 was the year they discontinued in 2008, so it was only around for 2 years. There was lots of room for people, but it being a station wagon, there wasn't a ton of room for cargo, so to speak, compared to an SUV. So in order to sell this car today, we would have to market the Magnum as a crossover and not a station wagon, because nobody's going to buy a station wagon anymore. They would have to market it as a crossover. It wouldn't work any other way. It just wouldn't. And that's coming from me, from facts in the industry, but a lot of it personal experience of being in the automotive field for 20 years. Nobody today is going to really buy a station wagon. They want, everything's a crossover nowadays. Now, they did have the Magnum. It was 2005, actually. That is correct. I realized it now because I remember going to the Dodge dealership in 06 and there was already one out. So that makes sense. It was a 3-year run. I apologize. What's up, everybody? If I haven't said your name, it's just because I'm getting right to the content, but I'll definitely try to shout everybody out when I'm done. The Magnum had great performance. The gas mileage was not the greatest, especially when gas prices back in 2008 were $5 a gallon. They were double what they are now. It was really hurting people. The economy was bad. Nobody had a job. It just wasn't practical, and they could get a Honda Element, which was an SUV, had more room, and they basically could save on gas mileage. So it really hurt. Even though the car was great, it really hurt it because the Magnum had an SRT8 version, which replaced, I think, the Charger, or they were side by side. I can't remember, but there was a 1 year, I believe. Could be wrong. Never owned one, so don't know. But I believe there was a year or two where they had the Magnum SRT8, and it was great. I seen them in person. They were great. They really were. So as far as what happened to the Magnum, well, back in 2008, you guys know SRT was headed by a guy named Ralph Gillis, and he basically worked with a CEO that left the company in 2008. And the CEO at the time, I can't remember his name offhand. Maybe you guys will know him. He wanted the Magnum killed. He wanted it gone. He said it was basically not good for sales. They weren't selling enough, so they got rid of it. And Ralph Gillis said in a press conference in 2010 or 11, I think it was 11, that the CEO in 2008 that departed at the end of the year was a one-man show and made the decision on his own, and that everybody up at Dodge, including Ralph Gillis, the then CEO of or head of SRT, wanted to see the Magnum come back. Everybody wanted the Magnum to come back. They all really loved the car, but it was that CEO's decision. Now, when they went bankrupt for a second time, I believe Ralph Gillis right around that time was gone. And in 2012, FCA took over, and then the rest is history because, of course, then we got FCA taken over and all the changes that happened to Dodge with Jim Beam. First, Tim Kuniskis, and then Jim Beam, as crazy as that may sound. It's just, or Steve Beam, excuse me. Steve Beam took over. So you've got these two guys, Steve Beam, and then you have Tim Kuniskis, who changed everything for the way SRT runs. And they didn't quite take over, what Ralph Gillis wanted to do, which was to bring back, the Magnum. And I remember, if you guys remember back in the day in 2012, Ralph Gillis actually said in a press conference, I'm pretty sure it was 11, it could have been 12. Basically, he said that big things are in the future for Dodge. This was in 2011. Big things are in the future for Dodge, and would not comment on the return of the Magnum. Now, what that means is he knew that FCA was going to be a merger from Fiat buying them. It was only 6 months prior to the buyout. And he knew the Hellcat was somewhat in the works. They started discussing a faster Charger. Now, they did intend to bring the Magnum back. My sources are telling me the Magnum originally was going to come back, but the idea of the Magnum was replaced by the Hellcat. They were going to bring a Hellcat Magnum back, or a SRT Magnum, and that idea was replaced with the Hellcat, which is the reason why the Magnum didn't come back, and is the reason why the Chrysler 300 SRT8 was dropped. Big Truck Reviews is in the house. He'll tell you he had a SRT8 Chrysler 300, and they dropped it, and that was the same time that they discontinued the idea of the Magnum returning, because they focused all their attention on the Hellcat. They only have 3 lanes. Robert, that's right. His name was Robert Nadelli. I remember the name. And he was the guy who discontinued the Magnum. Now, if you think about what's been going on, they only got 3 lanes at Chrysler to push vehicles out. Charger and Challenger, Hellcat are in Brampton. You've got the Chrysler 300 in Brampton as well. Those are the 3 lanes. They got the Jeep and the Durango coming off another assembly line. They don't have the ability to put the Magnum on the line right now. They just don't. The only way the Magnum would come back is if they killed the 300. Now, that's very possible, but my sources right now are telling me that a lot of the guys want to see this vehicle return, but they're not 100% committed to the idea. As of last year, there hasn't been any real commitment to this vehicle returning. Now, you have to think about it. They already have a Hellcat, Challenger, and Charger. They got the Demon. They've got the Angel coming back, or Angel coming, which is going to be their next car. Now, it's very possible the Angel could be the Magnum, although anything's possible with Chrysler. However, it's very unlikely the Angel's going to be the Charger 4-door. It's going to be the fastest 4-door sedan in the entire world, because you got to remember something. Dodge not only likes, but loves to make claims. Like the fastest production car in the world is the Charger, or, the fastest production sedan, should I say. The Demon's the fastest production car in the world. The Viper is the fastest production track car. The Trackhawk is the fastest production SUV. Dodge likes to make these claims. So for them to bring back the Magnum and say it's the fastest crossover in the world, they could do that. They could say it's the fastest station wagon in the world. They could do that. It's very possible that at some point in the future, considering that Dodge said they won't be going electric yet, and that it'll be somewhere in the future of the next 10 years means they don't really need to start the electric vehicles until 2025, 27. They said within 10 years. We have 10 years ahead of us. So it's highly likely in a lot of ways that they could bring the Dodge Magnum back. I don't see the Magnum as being in their 3-year plan. It's just, I don't see it, and I'll explain why. One, they've got the Dodge Angel they're working on right now. There's been a lot of bashing on the Demon. It says on their campaign, respect the beast, don't wake the monster. The Red Eye is already out, and it's outperforming on a road course on the highway and living up to its numbers better than the Demon. They're doing great. They got the Ram Rebel TRX coming out. That's only about 8-9 months away before we're going to see some finalized stuff on that and be able to order it. It's going to be ready for bank orders in September of 2019. So, you know, like Big Truck is saying here, if Chrysler had a Magnum at a 300 and the Charger, they could drop in the Elephant and have the most powerful, fastest street legal production sedans in history. Yeah, Bugatti would have to make another vehicle. I've heard the Gallagher. I'm not sure too much on it, but that makes sense. And they could make it come back. They could make the return with it. But here's what I think Dodge is going to do. They're concentrating on the Angel, which may or may not be called the Angel. Maybe the engine's called the Angel. Maybe it's a code name internally. Maybe it'll come out and be called the Dodge Charger Archangel, Dodge Charger Demon #2. It might be called the Dodge Charger Devil. Who knows? Right now, the code name is the Angel. They're trying to come up with something. The Challenger had a halo, which was intentionally placed there on their campaign for the Respect the Beast commercial in December. And they've got a lot of stuff, which I've done in other videos. Go watch those on the Dodge Angel. So I believe the Angel's coming. The TRX Ram Rebel is coming. And once that is done, they're working on a possible Viper return. Now, I would say you could see a Magnum by 2021 or 2022. I'm just not sold on the idea of them bringing it back, as my sources are very accurate most of the time here, and they're not so sure that's going to happen. Right now, Dodge is working on the wide body Charger. Now, there was already a Magnum, Chrysler Magnum, overseas in Australia. Thanks, Keith. I really appreciate that, buddy. If you look it up, there's already a Chrysler 300 Magnum type deal in Australia and overseas. Just like the Chrysler 300 SRT8 still exists overseas. If Dodge was to bring the Magnum back, would we be able to get our hands on it, or would it be only overseas? And I'll tell you what, there has been a lot of speculation that the Chrysler 300 Magnum will be returning under the Chrysler brand. You guys do not want that to happen. You guys don't need to wish for the Magnum to come back as a Chrysler. If Chrysler releases the Magnum under the Chrysler brand, it will not be offered in America, most likely. That's just how it works. The Chrysler SRT8 is not in America. The Chrysler crossover, you could say a station wagon 300 was not available in America. There's other Chrysler and Fiat vehicles that are not available in America. You don't want to wish for Chrysler to drop the 300 Magnum, as we will not see it in America. Chrysler does not want to compete with Dodge, or FCA doesn't want their two brands competing. That is why they're dropping the Chrysler 300 in favor of other vehicles. Now, if they come out with the Magnum under the Chrysler brand, like I've said, there's a very good possibility it will not be offered in the United States, which is why I think that should stay a Dodge vehicle, but Dodge won't bring it back because it will compete with the Charger. It doesn't leave enough room. Now, I love the the Dodge Magnum, or both look almost identical. Chrysler's front end's better in my opinion, but they both look good. It's a great vehicle, and I'd love to see it. I really would. I think they should bring it back. I really do. But at this point, it's really gray area if they're going to do that. The Dodge Magnum may flop if it comes out because it's got a small niche market. Sure, there's probably 20,000 people in the United States that would buy it instantly. But if the Dodge Angel comes out, there's probably 100,000 people that would buy it. The Challenger outsells the Charger 3-1 or 2-1, and the Charger outsells the old Magnum, or based on numbers, outsold the old Magnum 10, 20-1. So there's not enough market for them to justify putting a wagon in the U.S. Boise City Mopar, I agree with you. There's no market for a wagon in the United States. Wagons are very popular in Australia, so there's a good possibility we will see the Chrysler 300 Magnum in Australia, just like the 300 SRT8 and just like the Holden. GMC and Chevrolet have Holden in Australia, or is that in England? It's either Holden, or what is the other one there that GMC have? It's basically the Chevy SS that came here. Holden was one of their brands that they have, and one of them's in England, one of them's in Australia. It's the same type of deal. Station wagons are popular. Vauxhall, that's right, Cameron. Yeah, Vauxhall and Holden. So the Magnum should come back, but it's most likely going to go to Australia first. It's just how it's going to work. Not to mention, there's a lot of those deals that go over their right-hand drive. You can't get them here. They got to make two versions of it, which is not financially responsible or ethical for them to do. So the chances of us seeing a Hellcat-powered Magnum is very unlikely in the next couple of years. Now, I'm not saying it won't happen. It's impossible for anybody on this planet to know for sure. Hell, the guys who work for Dodge right now don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow for sure. Don't take my information as hate. I absolutely love the Magnum, and I would love to see it come back, but it's not practical. Even BMW has wagons. Have you noticed that in Germany, BMW sells station wagons? They don't sell them here, and if they do, they don't sell very well. Americans and Canadians do not like the idea of station wagons. They just don't. And to be honest, even though I like the Magnum, I'd rather, if I had to choose between owning a Magnum or owning a Hellcat and a Durango SRT, I would rather have the Durango and the Hellcat. I just would. I'd rather have two car payments than have one Magnum. It's not saying I don't like the Magnum. It's just the Magnum is not, it's not as appealing as the Charger, Challenger, or Durango. So it doesn't make any sense to put any money into resurrecting a platform that is over 11 years old now, and the market is become what I like to call collector classic market. It reminds me of back in the 90s when everybody was collecting the Pontiac Fiero. And I hate to say this, guys, so don't flame me for this, but I'm sure a lot of you are going to agree. The Dodge Magnum today is basically a glorified Pontiac Fiero. That's all it is. The Pontiac Fiero was a junk box vehicle that everybody took when it got discontinued. It's almost like that person you hate, and as soon as they're never around anymore, you miss them like crazy. You can't stand them, but as soon as they're gone for a long period of time, now you miss them like crazy. It's like the food that you eat every day that you haven't had in 6 months, now you miss it. Nobody liked the Fiero when it was out, and then when it was gone, everybody's turning it into the cheap and poor man's Lamborghini kit car. And it's the same thing with the Magnum. When it was out, not a lot of people liked it. Of course, it had its fans. It didn't sell well, which is why it got discontinued. And now, here we are, 11 years later, and it's become a Pontiac Fiero. It is a collector's car. It's worth money. Dodge knows this, that anybody who buys and restores a Magnum is going to be worth money. And in 20 years from now, the Magnum in fully restored condition is probably going to be worth $60,000, $70,000, maybe more. The Magnum is going to be worth money. If you own one, do not sell it. I don't think Dodge is going to bring it back. And if they do, it'll be overseas, and I will be kicking my own ass if I'm wrong on this, but I just don't see a U.S. market Magnum coming anytime soon. It's just not, it's not logical for Dodge. It's not logical. If they do it, it makes no sense, but hats off to them for bringing another great vehicle back, but I just don't see it happening. It doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint, from a car enthusiast standpoint like myself, going off of my personal feelings, history, the world market as a whole. Everything combined points to 90% we're not getting a Magnum. Unfortunately, it's just not, it's not practical. Now, the reason, like I've said, is because of the fact that it would cost too much money. Exactly. Why spend all that money on a wagon that hauls only a little bit better than a sedan when you can get a crossover SUV like the Durango SRT? I appreciate that, Ty Racer, and Inky Porth. I appreciate that, buddy. It's just, you know, some people might take this video as hate, but believe me, it's not hate. I love Dodge, and I love the Magnum. It's just, I have to sit here and face the reality, and that is that we're not likely to get one. And it's unfortunate because it would be cool. If Dodge had more money and more resources, you know, I agree with you, Peter. I'm not comparing it to the Fiero because they're both shitty cars. They're both great cars in their own way. I think the Magnum's way better than the Fiero, but that's the type of niche market the Magnum's in, is that people are going to put kits on it. They're going to turn it into Hellcats. They're going to turn it into a kit car. They're going to turn it into a Elephant. They're going to turn it into a Mopar dragster. The Magnum has become the car that Dodge abandoned that everybody still loves. So it's one of those cars that even though it's abandoned, people are still building it because there's still that small collector niche market, which will continue to thrive. It will. You guys will continue to thrive, and that market will be successful. And it's very unique and a gorgeous car, and I love it, and I would love to drive one. I would love to own one, but the chances of a return, very slim. Now, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for helping me hit 30,000 subscribers. If I can hit 50,000 before the end of May, I'm going to start looking into my next Mopar. And no, I'm not selling the red eye. I'm not selling the red eye at all. I will tell you guys something up. Who wants to see me put in an order for the Ram Rebel TRX? Does anybody want to see a TRX in the channel? I'm thinking about the GT500 or the TRX. So it's going to depend, guys. I really want the GT500. I really do, but I can't afford to get them both. So I tell you what I'm going to do right now. If you guys share the channel, share the videos, watch them all, comment, like, and we get to 75,000 subscribers before the end of summer. Now listen to my promise. Anybody knows I promised I'd get the Durango SRT, and I did. Anybody notices or remembers that I said I would get the red eye if I hit 25,000. I did that 5,000 early. Anybody who knows that I make a promise knows that I keep my promise. If I hit 75,000 subscribers before the end of summer, I will order the Rebel TRX. 100%. I will order that truck. But I've got to have 75,000 minimum before I can make that kind of commitment. So all you guys got to do is watch the channel, support it like you've been doing, share it with everyone, watch the videos, like them and comment. The more activity on the videos means the higher they rank, and I'm going to put out the best content I can, and we'll do a poll, and we'll see what you guys think, because I'm either ordering the GT500 or the Rebel TRX, or maybe both. If I hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of summer, maybe I'll order both. But you know, it's going to be great either way. I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate it, Frost, as well. So, yeah, maybe I will get the TRX. Also, I thought about doing another car for the channel, see if you guys like it. I appreciate that, Get Social. I really do. Order 2 of each, I wish. I love doing this. I'm over on Twitch. Be sure to check me out over on twitch.tv. I'm going to be streaming live all this coming week. Classic games, new games. I'm now monetized on Twitch. You guys can subscribe there. If you want to follow, you can follow, but subscriptions over there, you can, it's $4.99, $8.99, something like that. You get special emojis. You can cheer me on. Really cool stuff to support the channel. I appreciate that, Alex Davey. I really do. I try to respond to all your guys' questions in the video and in the comments. I tell you what, though, guys, if I have a goal to hit 150,000 subscribers, which is a lot, before the end of 2019. So that's the goal. And I also want to get another project car for the channel. What do you guys think of me picking up a 2005 through 2008 Magnum or Charger SRT8? Would you guys like to see another project car on the channel? Maybe at the end of the summer, we'll do that. But I've also been looking at possibly getting another Durango SRT. I have so much you know, commitment and plans, and so many plans for the channel. Just got to get the subscriber count to certain marks before I can buy extra vehicles. So we'll see what happens. And, you know, the Magnum and the Charger are the two cars I'm looking at for project cars. The Rebel TRX I'd love to get. I'd also like to get a Viper. And I had thought about the Trackhawk, but I'd rather get another Durango SRT, as that's my favorite SUV in the world right now. Terminator Cobra, already had one, Joseph. Sold it for my GT500. Sold that for the Hellcat. The Magnums are nice. Maybe I'll get one. Get a Fiero, Comics Legend said. Oh, that's funny. Peter Jones says, love your channel. Trying to keep up with everyone's comments. Oh, yeah, I always do. Always do, guys. Viper would be nice, but I'd say what we're going to do. If we get to 50,000 subscribers, or actually 75,000 by the end of summer, 75,000 by September, and we're going to do a poll on what vehicle you guys want me to get, and I will run out and get that vehicle. That's how it's going to work. I appreciate that, Joseph. Longtime friend. I've known Joseph Webb for, oh my God, 14 years. Back in the old days when we had our Honda Civics racing up and down the highway. That was really awesome. I remember those days. And I had like a Civic EX, which was very slow, and I turned it into a Civic EX. I had a DX, turned into an EX, and raced Joseph a couple of times. We had great fun. Joseph and I have been friends for a long-ass time. It's good to see you here on the channel, buddy. I really am glad you found me, because back in the day, I looked for you to try to add you as a friend on Facebook, so definitely add me. I'd like to chat with you on the phone, and maybe we'll hit each other up this summer. Good times, buddy. Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll give you my phone number. Go over to my Instagram, Joseph, Drive with Demons, and message me your phone number, and I'll give you a call, and we'll chat. If the Magnum comes back, the Caliber, Nitro, and Neon Avenger, you know what? Yeah. If there's any vehicle besides the Viper that Dodge needs to bring back, any vehicle. Now, I know some of you guys are probably going to slap me or virtually slap me for this. If I could have any Dodge vehicle back right now, it would be the Dodge Neon. It really would. It would be the SRT4 Neon, because that thing is a fucking beast. Those Neons were destroying Civics. They were destroying Evos. They were destroying WRXs. They were destroying everything. The Neon was a fucking beast. Have you guys owned one? Because I have. And all you had to do was upgrade the turbo, blow-off valve, intake, and exhaust. And those things are making 400 wheel all day for like $3,000-4,000 in mods. They had an iron block and they had forged pistons. They were so badass. I would buy one in a heartbeat. I'm not even kidding, guys. If it ever came out, I would buy one without even thinking about it. Yeah, see, Nick SRT, yep. They are not a joke. They are extremely some hate, but they were great. I tell you what, they're awesome guys. I remember the Intrepid too. I appreciate it, Joseph. Hit me up on Instagram with your number. I'll give you a call, buddy. Yeah, the Neon was the best, and I absolutely love it. Another car that I really love, guys, absolutely love, is the Ford Focus ST. I love that car, and as good as it is, I'd rather have a Neon SRT. It just, I don't know, it was just a great car. The Dart SRT would be good. The signal's going down a little bit here, it looks like. I think it's because my phone is overheating, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Let me just get my phone away from the heat vent. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching. There's a Challenger behind me, as you guys can see. There's a Challenger right there. Check me out over on Twitch. Follow me, add me as a friend, twitch.tv. Look me up, Drive with Demons. You can also subscribe to me over there as well. Check me out on Instagram if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Check out the store, drivewithdemons.com. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are the best. Share this video, share the channel, comment, like. And when this video posts to YouTube, watch it again. Remember, if we get to 75,000 subscribers, I need your help. If we get there by the end of summer, I will order the Ram Rebel TRX or whatever car you guys want me to order. Thanks so much for stopping in, guys. You are the best. If I didn't call out your name, I am very sorry. I love you all. Like I said, you guys are the best. I try to respond to all of you. I appreciate every one of you. You guys are Drive with Demons family. Peace out, guys, and we'll see you on the next